Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm your GoLocal Live host, Rachel Nunes. We have some great guests coming up today. First, we have Sarah Isabella. She's here from the Narragansett Lions Club to talk to us about Blessing of the Fleet Weekend, which kicks off later today. So we're very excited to hear all about that. And welcome. Thanks so much for being on the show today.
Hi, Rachel. Thanks for having me. I appreciate that.
So start by just telling us a little bit about Blessing of the Fleet Weekend. What is it?
So this is our 47th annual Blessing of the Fleet, which started originally down in Galilee to bless each and every boat commercially. Now recreational boats can also be part of it. That's on Saturday. But first, let's go back to tonight. It starts tonight in Veterans Park. We have live music, we have food, fun, games. The band that's playing tonight is the Heavy Rescue Band. Plenty of seafood to be had. And then on Friday, we have a 10-mile road race. And then again, Saturday, we have the Blessing of the Fleet.
Great. And so you mentioned that this is the second year that you've had 3 days of activities as opposed to just 2.
Right, correct. So we really want everyone to join us tonight. It starts at 5 o'clock with plenty of food. You got a great ocean view and a live band. Heavy Rescue is contemporary classic rock, so it should be really good fun. We have some new food vendors down there. We have Whalers Brewing, which is I think their second year that we've had them, as well as Budweiser and wine. And we have 210 Oyster Bar. We have seafood, Sea Fresh Seafood, which is doing apparently 25 different kinds of seafood.
Wow.
I know how they're going to do it, so come down early. And that's new this year. And the Narragansett Lions also does our own concessions. So we have a famous chowder, which I've tried, and it's fabulous. We do clam cakes. We have sausage and peppers. We do a lobster bisque. We have hamburgers and hot dogs. There's really something for everyone during the whole 3 days. So we have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday between Veterans Park in Narragansett and Galilee down at the Blessing itself. We have another new thing starting on Saturday, which is at 9 o'clock. We're doing informational events down at Galilee at Salty Brine parking lot. The informational events to promote fishing and fishing awareness, so I think that's really great. And then at 11:30 we have a bagpiper. That's before the actual blessing. And then we have local clergy that blesses each and every boat, which I believe he's going out on one of the boats this year, which he didn't do last year. So this should be really fun, and we always welcome more commercial boat, recreational boats to join us every year. It's a really fun event.
So anybody can join. Let's say I just had my own little motorboat. I could join in. Do you have to sign up in advance?
You have to sign up in advance. I believe you can do it up until, I think we changed it. I think it's till today, through today. So you can
there's
still
still
sign
time.
up.
Still time.
Still time. And there's also a boat decoration contest. So you have first prize, second prize, and third prize, which is really fun, and some people really get into it. So even if you got a tiny boat, do it. Why not?
Worth a shot.
Chance of getting, I think the first prize is $100 towards Sweeney's liquor stores, which is local, right in southern Rhode Island. So I think it will be really fun. We also have raffle tickets, so this is all to promote one of our biggest fundraisers of the year, which promotes the Rhode Island Lions Club Site Foundation and Cancer and Children, the Rhode Island Cancer Fund. So we have a lot of families in need that we help, that of course I can't name right now, but we really do a big fundraiser. This is our biggest fundraiser for the local community, and we're really happy to thank all our sponsors and all the people that come that make this event really local and important.
Yeah, so it's really a triple threat. You get to have fun down by the beach, you get to help the community, and you get to support local businesses. And what could be better than that?
Exactly. And also, if you want to hear more about our sponsors, make sure you go to NarragansettLionsClub.org. Our sponsors are listed there. and also the events that are occurring, because there's a lot of information that would be hard to remember all at once.
Hard to list it all out now.
List
Too
it
much
all.
happening over the 3 days.
So on Friday also we have the 10-mile road race.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that. Is that in the evening as well?
Yep, starts at 5 o'clock. We do runners, walkers, and wheelchairs. We try to get the whole community.
Oh, great.
Southern Rhode Island, Southern Narragansett. It's 10 miles. It is sanctioned. I think New England Runners magazine has said it's one of the best runs in New England.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, and then afterwards we have an award ceremony as well. I think that's at 8 o'clock. And our famous beer tent. And again, another band on Saturday night is on Friday night. Sorry, Friday night after the road races, Al Cerisi's All Stars. Saturday night, which is the final, is Steve Smith and the Nakeds.
Great,
so a local Rhode Island band.
A lot of local music as well being showcased at this event. And can anyone sign up for the road race as well, or has that closed?
Pre-registration was last weekend, but you can still sign up all the way until the event.
Wow, all right.
Yep, and that's at the Narragansett Pier School. And we are offering free shuttles in different locations to be able to get people down there. So don't get nervous about the traffic. We'll make it happen. We want everybody to have a good, fun, safe time.
And where can we park besides right at parking lots right at the locations?
So the school, Narragansett School, I believe you can park at. For the event on Saturday, you can park down on the Galilee escape ramp, and then we'll have a shuttle to get you to Salty Brine Beach in order to view the boats.
And what time does the blessing of the fleet start?
That starts at, the actual blessing of the fleet starts at noon.
Great, and about how long does that generally take?
I believe it's about an hour. You know, the boats are kind of going in and out around the harbor, so you can see a lot of fun beforehand. So make sure you come early and really take part of the in the local event.
And you mentioned the raffle. I believe that's being drawn on Saturday night.
Correct.
And what kind of prizes can we win from that?
Oh, that's great. The first prize is, I believe, or one of the prizes is a kayak and all the accoutrements that go with it, the paddle, the life preserver, and then we also have a cash prize. And I know there's a few other things, but
have to come down and see for yourself.
Or go on to narragansettclub.org.
And we can go online and find out all sorts of information about the event.
Sure. Yeah, it's a really great local promotion. I know one of our beneficiaries is the Rhode Island Animal Rescue. That's a good one. The Johnny Cake Center. We do a camp for the blind also we're part of trying to promote. So I hope everybody can come down, at least be part of one of the 3 events. So it's
there's something for everybody.
Something for everyone. So it's Thursday. Today is the first day, 5 o'clock, and it goes all the way through until Saturday at 10:30.
And are there any other events that the Lions Club are planning anytime soon if we can't make it this weekend?
So we have the Easter egg hunt is an event. We have about 6 fundraisers a year. We do breakfast with Santa. Yes. Let's see, we do the Festival of Lights. We're part of that. There's other organizations that are also part of that. An Easter egg hunt.
So something throughout the whole year.
Yeah, we try to plan, with the break in the middle, but this is our biggest event, but we try to have lots of fundraising so everybody can kind of be involved if they want to. You can always also donate on our website too. If you can't make any of those events, please go to our website again, narragansettlionsclub.org.
Well, it sounds like an absolutely great event. Lots of family fun, something for everybody. Tons of seafood tonight, so be sure to check it out if you need something fun to do this weekend. And thank you so much to Sarah Isabella and the Narragansett Lions Club for coming in and telling us about this great event. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I hope to see you there.
And we'll be right back with our next guest right here on GoLocal Live. Welcome back to Go Local Live here in the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm here now with our Secretary of State, Nellie Gorbea. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So it's a big time of year for the state of Rhode Island. We just had our candidates submit all of their signatures, and they're now qualified. So where are we now?
So right now my office is hard at work, and they will be over the weekend to design all of the ballots, make sure that all the names are on it, make sure that everybody's names are spelled correctly, all the places are put in place. And then sometime early next week, you'll actually be able to go on to vote.ri.gov, which is the Voter Information Center, and see a sample ballot, which is pretty exciting.
Well, that's a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, we work hard to make sure that we get it out as soon as possible. For one thing, we have to get out military ballots, which we have a very tight timeline for that. We have to make sure that they receive theirs at least 45 days before the primary.
And our primary is coming up. It's one of the latest in the country.
It is. It is September 12th, which this year happens to be a Wednesday. I know people are used to going and voting on a Tuesday, but this year, because of the religious holidays that happen in the Jewish calendar, we were able to move it to Wednesday, September 12th. And so that means that all of our deadlines have moved accordingly. And so people have until August 13th to register to vote.
So there's still time.
There is time, but
2 weeks.
you know what? As you're looking at this, absolutely go to vote.ri.gov, verify your voter information, make sure that you're, yes, absolutely, you're registered where you're supposed to be, that there aren't any issues, so that come the time when you want to vote, it's all set done.
And we just found out today that you've joined the National Association of Secretaries of State, their council to help reduce voter fraud, is it?
So it's the Government Infrastructure Council, Coordinating Council, and it's actually, I'm a representative from the National Association of Secretaries of State to this multi-level coordinating council that looks at elections infrastructure, particularly from the cybersecurity perspective. It was something that was created to help advise the Department of Homeland Security. We have nonprofits like the Election Center, secretaries of state like myself, because I'm co-chair of the Elections Committee for the National Association of Secretaries of State. And the idea is to bring in a perspective from a variety of points of view about what we need to do to protect our elections infrastructure from cyber attacks.
And what kind of steps are we going to be taking in this upcoming year? I know election security has been a big buzzword with the whole, was there Russian influence, was there not Russian influence? How has the approach to election security changed?
So absolutely. I mean, when I first was elected, I actually took it upon myself to improve our elections security infrastructure at the Department of State. So by the time 2016 came around, we were in a good spot to really ramp up. We've got a great team in place, great state employees who can actually speak to the Department of Homeland Security on technical terms and make sure that we're doing everything possible to mitigate the risk against anybody trying to penetrate or hack our election systems. I'm very proud of the work that we've done in that area. This election cycle, we are all hypervigilant for anything that might happen. And I will say this, I've been a part of security clearance, high-level security briefings with regards to what happened in the 2016 election, and uniformly, all of our intelligence community says that Russia was absolutely trying to meddle in our elections. They did not succeed in changing any votes, thankfully, but they are definitely at it, and they will do it again. And this is not just the 2016 election, it's a long-standing set of activities that Russia and previously the Soviet Union has had with regards to trying to destabilize democracy in the United States. So it's nothing new, but we're prepared, we're ready, we're absolutely taking all the measures possible to make sure that we mitigate any risks that we have for either Russia or any other foreign actor or domestic actor to get involved in our elections.
And so on a smaller scale, there's also, especially in the last election, there's been a lot of talk of concerns over dead people voting and whether or not undocumented immigrants have been voting. How much of an issue is that in the state? It seems like there's very inflated numbers a lot of times.
Hugely inflated numbers. Really, we have taken active steps along the last 3.5 years to make sure that our voter lists are as accurate as possible. In fact, we have a feedback loop from the Department of health, their vital statistics. When people die in the state, they let us know. And so we're able to remove them automatically from the voter rolls. We're able to get also dead voters removed that have moved to other states that are part of a group that Rhode Island joined my first year called the Electronic Registration Information Center, ERIC for short. This is a multi-state nonprofit where we have agreed to, in a very secure environment with technology that was produced by IBM, to really be able to safely exchange voter lists. They go after the Social Security master death files, and we're able to get flagged for us people on our voter lists who either may have moved to another state, moved within the state, or have died. And so we're able to handle that in a legal kind of way under the Voting Rights Act, under everything that is required by federal law. And so I believe that over the next, several years, we will have one of the most accurate voter lists possible. Florida and Massachusetts have just recently joined ERIC. And that, I believe, is going to make a huge difference in the kind of information that we get. And we're able to reach out to voters to get them removed from our voter lists once they've moved away from our state.
So is the goal here at some point to make it a national list, get every state to join in, and then you can really...
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that would be Eric's goal, would be to go completely national. We're about halfway there. I believe we're just under 25 states that have joined. And I'm looking forward to doing that because accurate voter lists are absolutely critical to us being able to run really good elections, being able to run cost-effective elections as well, because we mail out to everybody on our voter lists. So I don't want anybody extra on these voter lists, for sure.
Sure, the postage adds up very quickly.
Yes, it does. It does.
And when it comes to voter IDs as well, there's also been kind of a hot button issue of, does it disenfranchise voters? Is it a good idea? Where do you stand on that?
So really, voter ID, which is really a photo ID, is the law of Rhode Island. And while I have said initially that I didn't really think that the costs outweighed the benefits, I do respect the law in Rhode Island, and so we have made everything possible to minimize the impact on people's lives. So our office provides free photo IDs for voting to anybody who requests it. We go out and do voter outreach events where these IDs can be asked for. And so I think that we've come a long ways. I think the most important message for everybody out there is to know that if for some reason, come election day, like you're like me and you've changed purses and you forgot to put your wallet and suddenly you're there, or you find that you show up and your driver's license has expired and therefore it's not a valid photo ID, you are eligible to vote under a provisional ballot. So nobody should be turned away on election day. You can ask for a provisional ballot, fill out all the information. It will be reviewed by an election official who will then make sure that this is an actual voter who is entitled to vote. And then your ballot will get processed. But I think sometimes people think like, oh gosh, like I don't have it. I have to go back. I'm not going to come back. No, you can ask for a provisional ballot on the spot and file your vote that way.
There's still a way.
Yes, absolutely.
And so as we're getting all the signatures in from the various candidates, were there any surprises that you guys saw? So
not in my office per se. I know that there were a few things that the Board of Elections has handled. The Board of Elections being an independent body that's nonpartisan and really rules over any kind of disputes around signatures and things like that, along with the local boards of canvassers in every community. But no, I think that for the most part, I mean, we're ready to get those ballots ready in people's hands. What I do want to make sure people know is there are actually 3 ways to vote in Rhode Island. So if for some reason you think you may not be able to get to the polling location on September 12th, you can request a mail ballot if you do so before August 22nd. And so the ballot will be mailed to your house. You can fill it out in the comfort of your home. You can research all you want before you fill that ballot out. It has pre-postage paid envelope with it, so you don't even have to worry about finding the stamps. And send it into the mail and get it to us. Or you can hand deliver it. You have to have it to the State Board of Elections on Branch Avenue here in Providence by 8 p.m. on Election Day. So, but you do have that option of getting your ballot mailed to your house so that you can vote. And then if you miss the deadline of August 22nd to ask for the mail ballot, you have 20 days there where you can go into your local city hall or town hall and ask for an emergency ballot. And what they'll do there is they'll put you through a number of paperwork, but they'll, eventually you'll get the ballot, you'll be able to put it in, get your signature notarized right there at the clerk, and it's a form of early voting that I think a lot of people don't realize that they have access to, because it sounds so ominous. Oh, I don't have an emergency, I just don't know if I can go on election day. Well, no, that's okay.
That's what it's for.
That's what it's for. So it used to be in the olden days you had to swear that you had an emergency. That's no longer the case, but the title has kept. So you have 3 ways to vote: mail ballot, emergency ballots, or on election day, which actually I find kind of fun because you get to see everybody there on the polling locations.
Get your sticker.
Yeah.
You can feel like you're really part of the process.
Exactly.
And so with a primary day coming up, what would you say to voters who might say, oh, well, it's just the primary. It's not as important, or it's not a presidential election. I don't know if it's worth voting. What would you say to them? I would say absolutely be a voter. Voting is absolutely essential to the working of our democracy. And in these days, I have to tell you, some really important decisions are made at your school committee level, at your city or town council level, General Assembly or general officers. Every single level of government has a huge impact on your life. And the only way we know how you feel about things is if you go out and vote. So while I get that some people might get discouraged because it takes time, because you don't know exactly what to do, elections are not pop quizzes. You can check out your sample ballots come next week and look at what you're being asked to do. But I absolutely, as your Secretary of State, as part of someone who's a part of a military family, I will say it is so important to vote. So, and you can get more information on all of this at vote.ri.gov, which is your voter information center. So please go there, vote.ri.gov. That's where you can find everything. Everything. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Now we all know everything we need to know to be the most important voters, with the most informed voters. Yeah. That is, with primary day coming up soon. So thank you so much for joining us today, Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea. We really appreciate you taking time to come in. I know it's very busy in your office these days. A lot of votes to count and all sorts of things to go through, and so much going on. Yep. No, thanks. Well, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll be right back with our last guest here on GoLocal Live. A little bit about yourself. You've brewed for many years.
Correct. I started off as a home brewer, like most typical brewers do, and after our steakhouse went out of business, I had to go search for a new job. So I went to the Union Station Brewery, and the head brewer there needed help. So he said, hey, I'll take you on as an apprentice for a couple days a week, and I did that for 2 years. And
how is that different from being a home brewer, the transition to the larger scale?
It's a much larger scale. There's different fittings, different like security things that you need to be careful of, like a lot more heavy chemicals that you have to deal with. But the transition went really well, especially when you're training for 2 years to finally fill the role of head brewer. So.
And what first got you into brewing? Just an interest? What started lit the flame?
The fling was actually my sister gave me a wine kit, and she's like, "Hey, here's a hobby for you." And I read up on the wine kit, and it basically said that it took over 6 months to get your first product. So I said, "No, that's way too long for me. I'm not going to deal with that." So I transitioned into beer pretty quickly, and after that, it just became a love affair to where my wife said, "You can't brew in the house anymore."
So then you had to branch out, and once you left Union Station, you moved on to your current position.
Correct. I moved up to my current position. It is more distribution rather than brew pub. So it's more a larger scale, a lot more kegs, a lot more. I still had the same creativity as I did in the brew pub, but it was just a lot more cleaning, a lot more flipping the product more than the brew pub.
And now you're moving off. You're starting your own business,
Yes.
coming full circle.
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about that. It's called Smug Brewing. Where does the name come from?
The Smug actually, now that there's hundreds and hundreds of breweries out there, it was really hard to find a name without getting a cease and desist letter. So we went out and we actually looked up power words, and smug actually was in that. And we're like, how can this be a power word? But one of the lines in there is confidence. So that's what we want to portray, is like confidence in our beer, confidence in what we do, and move that confidence onto the customer.
And you'll be opening in Pawtucket. You took over the Bucket Brewery, though,
Correct. Correct. Yep.
And so tell us about that space.
It's a fairly large space. Most startups are usually not that large, but we thought we can do it. It's a large facility. It's a 10-barrel brew house with 7 20-barrel fermenters. So it's kind of large for a startup, but I feel I have the experience enough to get this going.
And when do you guys think you'll be launching?
Hopefully we should be launching by the beginning of fall. But there are always things, but we have our fingers crossed. So
hopefully all goes well on that front.
Yes.
And so what kind of beer do you prefer to make?
Well, all beer is great, but the styles are all pretty much similar. It just depends on how much hops you add, how much adjuncts, like there could be oats and cocoa nibs and spices. So it just depends on what style it is, but pretty much they're all brewed the same, different temperatures, just different things added. But IPAs are really big, and they leave this awesome aromatic in the brew house, and it smells wonderful.
And so there, like you mentioned, there are so many different brews right now, especially in Rhode Island. There seems to be new ones popping up almost every day. How hard is it to compete and be different and stand out from everyone else?
It's not terribly hard. Every brewer has their own style, and people tend to gravitate to that style. My style has been perfected around Providence for over 6 years, so people tend to like my style, and they know what they expect. They know the high quality standards that I have for my beers, so they can drink my beer with the utmost confidence that it's going to taste delicious and it's going to be delicious.
And once you open, will you be open to the public? Can people just stop by and
Yep.
and try it out?
Yep, we definitely will have our beer in restaurants, bars, but we also have our tasting room where you can come in, enjoy yourself all of our sample varieties, because there will be some beer that we won't release into the public, so you have to come in and try it. So that's where we'll be mostly experimenting our beer. So the one-offs that you can't get anywhere else, you have to come to the brewery for that.
And do you have any partnerships set up yet of where you'll be able to buy it, or what restaurants you'd be able to get it at?
I've had a few restaurant owners contact me that they're ready to, as soon as we're ready to go, they're ready to go, but nothing in stone yet.
All right, we'll have to stay tuned for that. And do you have a website or social media? Where can people learn more about it, or do we just have to stay tuned for now?
You have to stay tuned for now. We are working on all that. As soon as we get that up and running, you guys will be the first to know.
And so tell us a little bit more about the brewing process. It's such a fascinating process, like you said. Like what is it that you like so much about it?
What I like about it is that I'm taking raw material, raw cereal grains, hops, and yeast, and I'm actually making this giant cauldron soup of sugary wort liquid. And at the end result, I'm making this beautiful elixir of wonderfulness that makes you feel awesome.
Who could say no to that?
No one
Best
can.
Tagline there. And you mentioned you didn't feel like waiting the 6 months for
Yeah.
wine, which is understandably a very
Right.
long wait.
Right.
About how long does it take to make a full batch?
Depending on the style, from beginning to end, it could take anywhere from 3 weeks to, I mean, if we're not going into sour beers, we're going from 3 weeks to like 5 or 6 weeks.
So not too long at all.
Not too long at all. But I mean, there are beers that take years, but we don't have time for that either.
Those are the exception. And so if you're opening up in the fall, you guys gonna start production soon?
Yep, we will as soon as we get all our permit. Well, we have our federal permit. We're just waiting on our state. As soon as we get that in, we'll start getting all our beautiful beers out there and ready to go. And hopefully our nice fall beers will come out, nice Oktoberfest, maybe a pumpkin spice, who knows?
Great time of year for it.
It is. When the cold weather comes in, it's time for a nice warming beer for you.
So I'll have to stop by and check it out.
Oh, definitely.
And what would you tell the world to sum up your brewery?
Sum up my brewery is basically we're not brewing to judge. We're not brewing to be something we're not. We are who we are. We make our beers. We make beers that people want to drink. We don't care if you're a 250-pound guy and want to drink a pink beer. We're okay with that. We don't care if you're a 90-pound lady and you want to drink a triple IPA. We're okay with that. We support all, and we're not going to judge you for it.
Sounds like all you could ask for.
That's no judgment-free zone. I think someone took that tagline, but we'll throw it out there.
Yeah, you can borrow it.
Yeah, we'll borrow it.
Well, thanks so much for coming in today. We're all very excited to see when you guys will be launching and when we can all try it out.
Okay, I'm really excited to get started.
Well, Robert DeRosa, thanks so much for coming in, founder of Smug Brewing. Keep your eyes out. It'll be up and running soon.
It'll be up and running
this fall. And that's it for us today on Go Local Live. Thanks so much for joining us. You can stay up to date on the latest in news, politics, and everything else on GoLocal.com. And Kate will be back tomorrow at noon for our start to the weekend show. Here in the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center, I'm Rachel Nunes.